Hello everybody, thank you for clicking on the video. I really appreciate it. Week 3 of the college football season is officially in the books, and because I've already seen that ESPN posted their official top 25, I thought I'd make this list real quick. So this is my personal top 25. Again, this is very opinion based. This week, there were a lot of teams that were from that 20 to 25 range that had bye weeks. I mean, there was Iowa State, there was Clemson, there was NIU, there was Louisville. I mean, Ohio State and Penn State also did, but it's not like I'm going to drop Ohio State and Penn State out of the top 25 as a whole. So knowing that moving forward, I had a lot of teams in the bubble that I wanted to move into the top 25. So yes, NIU, Boston College, Clemson, Iowa State, Arizona, all these teams that either had a bye week or suffered a loss, they were getting the axe. All right, so 25, I have ASU. I am very impressed. This is going to be a story video for another time, but I'm very impressed with how my Sun Devils have been doing this season, coming out strong, 3-0. This is not how last season started out for them. So the fact that they've gotten big wins against Wyoming, Mississippi State, and then Texas State. They got a big one coming up with Kansas, so we'll just see. All right, number 24 I have is UCF. I had 8 teams that I wanted to try to fit into those 5 spots to realistically go, okay, why can this team be in here? All of them were 3-0. I'm going to list them off real quick. It was Washington State, Illinois, Michigan State, UCF, ASU, BYU, Indy, and Cal. The reason why I put UCF is I think UCF had a solid win the other night against TCU, and they are 3-0. Washington State I have at 23. The reason why I have them moving up is they have 2 legit wins in their 3-0 season so far. They have beaten Texas Tech, and then they took care of their rival Washington in the Apple Cup on the road. And so I think with a 3-0 start, that's nothing to slouch at. But again, we know the Pac-12 is not going to get any love this year. Number 22 I have is Cal. Cal has surprised me. They have started 3-0. And not only have they started 3-0, they've beat Auburn and they've beat San Diego State. And so that's what I think qualified them to try to get that 22 spot. And again, this is all subjective. Any of these teams could drop out next week. 21 I have is Nebraska. Nebraska beat up on Colorado, and then they beat Northern Iowa. To me, I want to see a huge road test out of this young Nebraska team with their quarterback. I'm a little skeptical still. I don't know if it's hype or just, are they playing real good ball, or are they just playing really bad teams? Again, it's still really young in the season. All right, number 20 I have is Clemson. They took a bye week, same with Louisville, so nothing doing there. Number 18 I have is Oklahoma. They got business done against Tulane, even though that game was closer than we wanted to see. Number 17 and number 16 I have is Michigan. I didn't have them moving at all because LSU at one point was down by 17 to an unranked South Carolina team. This is something that's got to be cleaned up. If they're a top 15, top 10 team in the country, you just don't go down by 17. You're coached better than that, yada, yada. And then same with Michigan. I mean, they only won by 10 points. This offense has to figure it out. Number 15 I have is Notre Dame. I think the NIU loss last week is just going to be a blip on their record because look at what they just did to Purdue and how they manhandled them on the road. Now, if this is the case, then every game should be an away game. Number 14 I have is Oklahoma State. I have 13 USC. I have them moving down just a little bit because they also took a bye week this week. And then 12 Utah. I don't have them moving just because they barely beat Utah State. They're missing Cam Rising, I know, but it's Utah State. Come on. It's the Aggies. Moving up a little bit, just on the outside looking in of a top 10 team I have is K-State because they have a ranked win against Arizona. Man, that first quarter was absolutely amazing. Started out 7-7. It's like, okay, we got a ball game here, but then the Wildcats just blew them out. All right, number 10 I have is Penn State. They idled this week with a bye. Number 9, moving on up a little bit, I have is Miami because they just keep kicking ass. Number 8 I have is Oregon, and the reason why I have them moving up or down, just depending on how you look at it, is because this is the Oregon we've been waiting for all year. They whooped up on the Beavers. Number 7 I have is Missouri. I don't have them moving. Yes, they did get a ranked win against Boston College, but that game was closer. And then as we go farther in the season, I mean, we're still only in the first quarter of the year. These ranked wins, no matter how big of a win or how close of a loss, like it'll all just work itself out. All right, number 6 I have is Tennessee leapfrogging Mizzou. The reason why is just because Tennessee has the best offense so far that I've seen in college football this year so far. Number 5 I have is Ole Miss. Number 4, dropping down a little bit and getting leapfrogged by Alabama, is Ohio State. They were also one of these 7 or 8 teams in the top 25 that decided to take a bye week early in the year. Really weird, but whatever. Conference play starts next week. Number 3 I have is Alabama, them moving up against Wisconsin. Yes, Van Dyke did get injured, but again, it was an early road test for the Crimson Tide, and Jalen Milroe put himself in the driver's seat of the Heisman with a 5-touchdown performance. Number 2 dropping just 1 spot because of how close they played against Kentucky and Lexington is Georgia. And then number 1 I have is Texas. The Longhorns took care of the Roadrunners. Now they're going to deal with an injury to Quinn Ewers. I don't think that's going to affect their season too much because I just saw the report that it's going to be a week-by-week thing. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. So now looking at the playoff picture like this, I'd put the 12th team as that, Power 5 or whatever whatever they want to call it. I'm going to put Memphis just because they're undefeated and they beat FSU. Yes, FSU I know is not ranked, but come on. They're not going to put NIU over Memphis, just from a money standpoint. All right, but out of this, I'd probably have Tennessee taking care of Missouri, Georgia taking care of Memphis, Bama taking care of Penn State, Ole Miss getting a win on Oregon. And then from this standpoint, if it were to play this week, I'd have Tennessee rolling Texas just because Arch Manning, how many games has he played? Look at the experience. K-State versus Georgia. I think this would be a close game, but I'm going to have to lean with the Bulldogs. Out of Alabama and Miami, I'd probably take Bama. And then I have Ohio State and Ole Miss. I'd take Ole Miss. Ole Miss, Bama. Probably Bama. It'd probably be a Bama, Tennessee national. If we're looking at just this past week, yes, it'd probably be a Bama, Tennessee national championship. And then Tennessee would whoop up on Bama. But that would be a high-scoring game. Like, holy hell, we had a national championship that was 48-52. But anyways, those are my thoughts on the rankings. And I'm glad you made it to the end of the video. If you like all things college football, be sure to hit that like button and sub button. I'm going to try to post videos daily. Catch you in the next one.